Hi, magical souls. It's still January out there, and I hope you are all keeping warm. But I was in the middle of painting, still wearing my painting stuff, and I started to get a download from the record keepers and guides. They wanted to come through, and this is not the first time I've heard this message. They say it regularly to the people that come to me for readings. But one of their main messages for us to take on board is that if we uh, continue always to focus on the injustice of a situation, then we are going to be holding ourselves in a place of negativity, and we will be preventing ourselves from living our best lives. Okay, so let me explain. So, for example, I had a reading this week, and the young lady said to me that every time, so she wasn't that young, but I felt like her energy was young. But she's had many jobs in many different companies, and she's very good at what she does. However, she always attracts the negative boss for some reason, and she's always getting that boss is always dislikes her tremendously. And of course, because she's a very magical star seed and she's all knowing, she can see everything that these bosses of hers are not doing correctly. And the human boss who is not a star seed, still God's child, and we still need to revere them, but he is not acknowledging her, and he is trying to avoid her because he knows on a deeper level that she can see all, and she can see his weaknesses. She takes one look at him and she can sum him up in an instant. So, of course, he's doing everything he can to make sure that she doesn't succeed in his department. And he's trying his best to make her life difficult, hoping that she will leave and then he won't have to deal with her because he senses that she is more powerful than he is. He senses that she knows more than he does and she would be better at his job. So, what should she do? What can she do? Because if you think about it, she's come to me and she's fixated on the problem. And when the record keepers and guides come through and they say very gently and with much love that we need to stop talking about it, stop focusing on it, so that we can move ourselves out of that negative vibration. Obviously, it's really important that you do this with care and consideration and make sure that you have all your, let's say, all your ducks in a row before you start doing things that will change your situation. So, for example, when the young lady is in this very state of frustration and worry about the work, it would be good for her to already have sent her CV out and maybe have a few jobs lined up, a few interviews lined up, something like that, to help her get to the next level and to help her take her mind off of the very difficult situation that she's in. So, what happens when we do that? When we've got a route out, then takes it takes away the anguish around a situation, and it becomes less intense, which is what the record keepers and guides always tell us to do. Make sure that a difficult situation becomes less and less intense by doing a few things. So, if she continues to focus in on the injustice of what this man has done, then she will hold that pattern in place. She keeps it going, keeps it spinning, keeps it alive. And actually, what the record keepers and guides always advise is that instead of keeping that negativity alive, instead let it go and focus instead on all the very positive things around you. Now, the very first thing that this young lady asked me as soon as the guides gave her that advice is, first, I want to know, she said, first, I want to know that they recognize that this is unjust. So immediately by her asking me that question, we understand that she's not ready to let go of the situation because she wants the whole world to know this situation is unjust. But there's a very magical saying, if you laugh, the whole world laughs with you, but if you cry alone. And what the record keepers and guides mean to say is they're not belittling her comment that this is unjust. They're not doing that at all. They might say, yes, it is unjust. But why are we focusing still on this injustice? Why haven't we moved on? Why are we not focusing on all the very, very magical things in the world? Now, the record keepers and guides did also go on to give us a little bit of information about how to deal with this type of situation. So they're not just saying, put it out of your mind, ignore it, and move on. They're not just saying that, and they're not leaving her high and dry. No, no, no. They gave her some lovely examples of how to manage her energy and to put some very good tools in place to help her so that she didn't feel the negative energy, and also to support her in the environment. So what we have in front of us was is a very, very beautiful old soul. So she's chosen a very tough life. Often, the more evolved your soul is, um, the more difficult the situation is that you'll bring to yourself in the third dimension. This is what you want to do because you want to learn and you want to grow and you want to understand and you want to move and forward. And the best way to do that is by giving yourself a challenge. And if you didn't do that, then you may as well, we could look at it like the school system. We like to move from nursery school to primary school to high school and then to university or college and onwards. If we didn't do that, if we didn't go up those steps, we could just go and do something simple and not bother challenging ourselves. But the older souls, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the guides are laughing when they're talking about this. The older souls give themselves lots and lots of challenges to overcome because they know that it will be well worth it. Every single step that you take through a challenge, through a difficulty, is well worth it at the end. You are learning, you're growing, you're evolving, and you can embrace that. And don't worry so much about the people that are doing unjust things or taking unjust actions. It's not always our role to be judge, jury, and executioner. We come forward sometimes to make change, in which case it becomes quite obvious that we are the change agent and we need to report that person. But if we find ourselves in a situation where nothing we are going to do is going to make the slightest bit of difference to the situation, then we need to understand that we ourselves need to protect ourselves from the negative energies of others and find ways to overcome the difficulties and take steps to move forward in our lives. Okay, so there's options. She could run her own business and do the work that she wants to do without the difficulty of this person stepping in. What if she can't? Then she needs to use the very unique tools that the record keepers and guides downloaded for her that day in order to improve her situation. And what can often happen is that when you come through as a very sensitive star seed and you bring through your gifts from the other side, the regular human types, they can feel very threatened by you. They can feel very uncomfortable in your presence. So the record keepers and guides have brought through very good good tools to help us protect ourselves, protect our space, so that we can focus on delivering the work that we're meant to be doing without being, let's call it attacked, let's call it emotionally or psychologically attacked by these people that don't like us instantly because they know that we can see all. So what often happens is a starseed will come along and can see everything. Now, before that starseed came along, that person often in a very high position is manipulating all the people and getting them to do their business, getting them to do their ill deeds, ill-fated deeds, or whatever you want to call them. And but they are controlling, and you'll notice there's a flock of humans kind of adoring them, and that sort of thing. And the starseed comes along and thinks, what is going on? It's like these people have been brainwashed, and there's no way it's going to happen to the starseed, is it? Because they can see and they can sense and they know what's going on. And it's very important then to make the decision. Are you the change agent that comes in and blows things up and makes the people around this person understand what's going on and how they've been led incorrectly? Or are you the one that just wants to get on with your work, you know what you're good at, and you just need to protect yourself from the negativities? So those are the decisions you need to make, because there are some really good sayings that I draw on, like from the Bible. I know a lot of people have used religion and Christianity and the Bible for negativity, but there have been some amazing downloads that we can draw upon and think of. So think about how there's a sentence in there where it says, God says, vengeance is mine. And that means that when I first heard that, I thought, gosh, that's crazy, because this situation I'm in is so unjust, and all this stuff is happening to me, and I'm so upset, and I want to get out of the situation, and I don't think this should be going on, etc. Now, if you find that you're in a position that God is going to work through you and make the changes, and you feel up to the task, that's fine. But you will get very clear guidance from beyond the veil that you are the one that's going to make the changes if it is your duty to do so. But if you can tell that the situation isn't just, and you feel very small within the situation, then it's time to just protect yourself and make sure that you don't get trodden on in this big situation. And the record keepers and guides tell me regularly that we are all meant to be living our best life. We are meant to have a feeling of heaven on earth. And if we're not experiencing heaven on earth, we need to make some changes. We need to find out how to protect ourselves, what it is we're going to do, and then take all those steps that we need to make sure that everything changes so that we can have the best life and live our best lives. Okay, I hope that information has been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.